What's up, witches? Welcome back to my channel. It's Cheyenne, aka the Lunar Priest. Also, forewarning, I'm not looking directly into the camera because I can't really see it because I'm filming with my iPhone. Whatever, let's get to the video. Today we're talking about the Hermit card of the tarot. So let's get the basics out of the way. Subscribe to my channel. Just kidding, but not kidding. Please do, because it really helps me to continue making content. But back to the Hermit card. The Hermit is ruled by Virgo. Virgo is a important thing to consider when we're talking about the Hermit. And in my opinion, the astrological correspondence of any tarot card can really give us another lens to look at the archetypal energy of the card through. So, for example, when we're talking about the Hermit card, we want to take a look at some of the things that Virgo is associated to. So Virgo being associated to the 6th house of health, everyday routine. There's this element of repetition and kind of perfecting our craft, if you will, with Virgo. And there's also attention to detail and the material plane rather than the idea or the conceptual kind of plane, if you will, because Virgo opposites Pisces. Its sister sign is one of abstract, of ideas, of spiritual experience, of illusion, delusion. Like there is more poetic artistry going on in the Piscean realm, whereas Virgo really encapsulates that creativity and then turns it into something. It turns the concept into a plan. So Hermit card can signify a time, or depending on the card surrounding it, a subject matter that we are totally applying ourselves to and finding ways to be creative alongside that which is trusted, true, tried, traditional, etc. So when the Hermit card arises, there is a story being told because the major arcana cards of the tarot, which are the 22 cards that accompany the other 56 cards, I believe, of the minor arcana. So let's zoom out a little bit for people who are more beginning. The minor arcana cards tell a story of day-to-day life. They give smaller lessons and energies that can be here one day and gone the next. Something that isn't so much of a large rolling energy, more like the foam that is on the sand when a wave crashes. It's there, it's gone. It's beautiful, it's valid, but the major arcana is going to be more like the wave itself before it's even formed above surface. It's something we work with for a little bit longer in our lives. They are archetypes that show up in so many ways because the human experience is so diverse, eclectic, specific to each individual person, just like every reading is. So when a major arcana card comes up, it can signify that this is kind of a overseeing element of what's going on in the deck, and that goes for all major arcana cards. So when the Hermit shows up, it can say, hey, they've been working with these other energies a little bit longer, per se, and they are perfecting this, or they are really learning this, they're really applying themselves, they're really taking their time. And there's also an element of being alone on the path when the Hermit comes up. This isn't a card of isolation or loneliness per se. This is more of the energy of, I've been studying this. This is a specific to me sort of moment. There is a character arc developing, or this is a part of my character development to become who I am in the world when the Hermit comes up. And I know I'm kind of all over the place because I myself am very Piscean, and also I have a first house Aries Mercury. It's a lot. Okay, but let's keep going, because the Hermit card, like I said, can signify that, there is an element of being the one, or being alone, or being walking this path. When you have to walk a path, it's not always, there isn't the same level of dedication or the same level of showing up every day for everyone around you, right? Like, you are living your life because it's your life. Not everyone can live your life right alongside you. And the Hermit really drives that essence home in that it wants us to focus on how can we be satisfied in our day-to-day lives. Like if we are walking this path, if we are going to be dedicated to something, what is it that is authentic and unique to us that we are okay with devoting ourselves to on that level? And I think I already brought this up, but you know, the major arcana does tell this story. So to circle back around, when we have the Fool card, card number 0, there is a theory, tarot theory, that says that, you know, the Fool is the unrealized self. It is the beginner's mind. It is what we're just naturally getting called out in the world to do, what we're just naturally kind of drawn to, the great unknown that we venture into. And then we move forward, and that number 9 Hermit card is the realized self, okay? So it is the Fool as they have found themselves along their path. They've been walking for a while. And the Hermit has this great level of knowledge to it. When we look at the numerology, like zooming in on that aspect a little bit more, 0 is this element of nothing, of infinite potential. 9 is this energy of completion, of manifestation, of the self being realized, of depth when we have angel number 999. And a lot of, by the way, a lot of my numerological teachings come from Kabbalah mainly. It's something that I've studied alongside the tarot, naturally, if you will. And 9 really tells us, you know, we've reached a level of depth this time. We have, we are preparing to really get it into full manifestation, right? Because 10, when we go forward in this numerical story of the tarot, we have the Hermit being card number 9 into the card number 10, Wheel of Fortune, which is this manifestation. The wheel turns yet again. There are blessings and materializations happening around us. There is this new dawn. Therefore, tarot card number 9, or the Hermit, is kind of the self who is manifesting, who has begun that manifestation process, who can manifest at that level because they understand themselves so nearly and dearly, you know? So the Hermit card also, when we look at traditional symbology in the tarot cards, oftentimes they are holding a lantern, right? And sometimes a Saturnine star is within that, right? So or a Merkaba. There's all kinds of symbology that can be associated there. There is a Saturnine element to the Hermit card, though it is naturally actually Virgo and therefore Mercury. It also has this Saturnine element of evolve or else, or evolution over emotion, which ultimately means we are discarding anything that no longer serves us. Therefore, there is also this element of detachment in the Hermit, and the Hermit in any archetypal story is one who is very detached from the material plane. There's this polarity existent, right? And in any realized self, in most mystical practices, have united their polarities. So we have this Hermit archetype who ultimately is somebody who is detached, and because they are detached, they are able to create anything, right? We have that 0 energy, the full energy, the new beginning, the blank slate, being totally realized, understanding the opportunity of emptiness. And these are, you know, what I'm talking about is very archetypal. It's very non-specific, if you will. So we want to look for ourselves when we're reading, or for others, how this actually applies to current scenarios. So the other cards around could say, hey, you might be feeling a little bit lonely, a little bit unsure of what way to go. But I'm also seeing some other empowerment pieces. Excuse me. I'm also seeing some other empowerment pieces that would lead me to believe that maybe this is the direction you should go. So this could happen in relationships. Hey, you're shedding old ways of life so that you can manifest this relationship. You understand that you are the versatile one in the world, and you may be shackled or continuing on patterns that no longer serve you. If you want to manifest that, you are versatile enough to switch out of this form and into this form, who is the version of yourself who has what you want. And that's just one example, but just kind of giving a little bit more dialogue as to how this becomes more in action, because most of the time when the Hermit card comes up, it's not actually about abandoning society, right? It's not actually about being in isolation. It's more so about understanding the unique outlier who is capable of adapting and evolving through anything. And I've also heard other great tarot enthusiasts and teachers and readers talk about how, you know, the Hermit is on the path that is unlit, right? So it has its own source of light. There is this guiding light it has within itself. So it's an intuitively led spiritual being taking a journey. So also, side note, travel can be involved if other cards around it are kind of indicating that. And the travel will have some sort of as above, so below element. Yes, you're journeying on the material plane, but you're also partaking on a journey within. There's likely something that we have come to terms with, and we are physically moving our lives around to mirror the evolution happening within. And to that same note, this is not a path that is often traveled, the one that the Hermit is moving along. It is one that is very much you know, there's not a map yet made for it. It will be taking its own path and having to undergo a series of different terrain to really test its knowledge level, to, you know, to really create what it's trying to create, or to get to the destination it wants to get to achieve the manifestation we want to. We have to work out those everyday routine type of things, the everyday knowledge, and how our uniqueness, our character, how we do that ourselves, right? So let's say we are manifesting becoming a lawyer, or we're manifesting becoming something else. What does that look like in real time? There's a lot of things that have nothing to do with that manifestation going on in our everyday lives, and we'll have to understand how that archetype walks, talks, when they wake up, when they go to sleep. It's in the everyday mundane lifestyle that the most grandiose things are achieved. So spending time studying is often one of the Hermit's traits, if you will. So as they venture along this path, it's not so much about referring to this guidebook, right? It's not so much about referring to other people or copying other people or being like other people. It's about respecting tradition, taking what works and applying it in our own unique way as our own unique experiences call for. So the Hermit is a golden link, right, in the chain of teachers that have came before them. There is many different paths and studies and spirituality, all streamlining through us when we are embodying that Hermit energy, and we are, yes, respecting tradition, but also completely throwing away certain identities that just no longer will apply to what we're moving toward. And lastly, with the Hermit card, I did say it was ruled by Virgo. Naturally, we want to look also to Virgo's ruling planet, Mercury. Mercury is one of clear communication, collaboration, quick movement, and the Hermit is able to communicate and teach others. It is able to dissect its own mind and dissect the minds of others and be a leader, right? A trailblazer. They're walking on that path. Someone's behind them clearing the brushes, right? They are the ones pioneering in their thing. So there is this element of greatness to the Hermit, and there's also an element of no one's watching the greatness until it's been done. So being a leader, leading by example, paying attention to health, right, with that 6th house association, paying attention to communicating the tale as it's going down, or telling other people how you handled things, how you handled that dark night in the forest. What that guiding light looks like for you is a great way to collaborate with your community. Yes, there is a sense of loneliness or isolation, but that isolation has led you to new coping mechanisms that actually prepare you to be a better servant to society and a better collaborator with evolution itself. And of course, as with anything metaphysical, you probably aren't going to be able to explain it in a YouTube video altogether. This was just a little piece of my insanity that I wanted to share with you. There are so many great resources, teachers, and schools of thought on the tarot. And if something didn't resonate with you in this video, just leave it right where it is and take only what serves you, because this is only meant to be useful and something to entertain and help you. So with that, I'll see you next time. Bye.